Yeah, people, back once again with some more about you guys. Well, we're in the middle of people exercising all around me. I'm on the move a lot. So, yeah, got a lot of people. I ain't going to show you the people because the people won't want to be seen on camera. But it's beautiful scenery behind me here. Uh, just an empty field on that side. On the other side, it's like a lot of people exercising. Trust me, a lot of activity going on right now. Bunch of guys, a guy gonna jump at me. I don't think he wants to be on camera. Yeah, so what we're gonna talk about? We're gonna talk about the current boxing. Current boxing. Some of the real cool things that are happening. Hey, Tommy Temple, what's up, bro? So yeah, everybody is right now exercising and in fitness quest. It's a beautiful day because what's happening is slightly drizzling. It's slightly overcast. It was really hot this morning. Anyway, let me get into it. So, first things first. Jamal Charlo versus Sergey Derevyanchenko. That is a hell of a fight that I want to see, and it looks like they may lock it down. They may lock down that fight. And that would be a good fight to watch. For those of you who really fight fans like that, Derevyanchenko, as we all know, brings it. The inside fighter. So Jamal Charlo will have a challenge of fighting somebody who's world class, top class inside fighter. And he'll have a big challenge on his hands because, he's an outboxer. He's strong, but he's an outboxer. So he's going to get some more experience fighting an inside fighter. I would have loved to see Canelo also face Derevyanchenko. But honestly speaking, I don't want to. Yeah, Derevyanchenko is a dude that I would love to see him face. But I guess we'll have to see that down the road. But if Jamal Charlo gets that fight with Derevyanchenko, that's a great step-up challenge for Jamal Charlo because Derevyanchenko ain't no joke, okay? Derevyanchenko, from what I heard, I don't know how true it is, beat Triple G in the amateurs. So, it's going to be quite a thing to see. You know what I mean? All right. Now, you guys can't see my face, but it's all right. Tommy Temper says Saunders is now officially KFC. I think Saunders said, what did Saunders say? Something. You know what I'm saying? I think he talked his way out of the Canelo fight. Then I think I heard that he was gonna be facing somebody else. So he was looking. People were saying that's a great opportunity to face Demetrius Andrade finally. I don't know if that'll happen. To be honest with you, but that is something that again. We could watch to see what'll happen. You know what I mean, Tommy? But obviously Saunders is not done. His career is not finished. He was talking about retiring and all that. It would sound funny. Saunders just one of those guys that behave like that. You know who's a sleeper that I think Canelo could face, and I think it would be a very exciting fight for Canelo. And I know a lot of you guys will be like, "What? Nah," because he's like sort of like a step down from Saunders, but Chris Eubank Jr. But Chris Eubank Jr. is with PBC. And Chris Eubank Jr. wants Jamal Charlo. He wants Canelo. I heard Jamal Charlo again calling out Canelo and Triple G. And I saw Demetrius Andrade calling out everybody as well. But I really think that if you're gonna put together some fights, let me walk this way. Should I? No, I'm gonna go that way. If you're gonna put together some fights, I think the best fight that you could have at this point in time, and kind of it's like anticlimactic, but it's Canelo maybe versus Chris Eubank Jr. Or let him have one of the 168 pounders. If Saunders is out, why not Callum Smith? Callum Smith got some experience, and he had some experience in the. Tommy Temper says Saunders happy to troll people. Yeah, man. He not interested in no big fight, man. He not interested in the big fights. Clearly, he's just ducking and dodging and trying to stay undefeated. He's truly trying to keep his undefeated record. It looks like that. From everything, he just talk his way out of every single fight. Nah, that ninja just be trying to troll us as fans. You know what I mean? Yeah, good point there, Tommy. Yeah. Eubank should put work on Canelo. Yeah, Eubank has a really serious punch rate, But I don't know if he, I don't know if he can put work on Canelo. He gotta have to tighten up his stuff. He's been working with Roy, so I don't know how that will turn out. Um, let me go this way. Yeah. So let me go this way. There you go. So Canelo. I mean, if the door opens up for Callum Smith versus Canelo, I think Canelo should take it, and he should go to England for that, even because uh, I just think that Billy Joe Saunders is out. He's not an option. I kind of sours the 168 pound. He was like the best 168 pounder, really. Um, but okay, so he's out of the equation. So we have Callum Smith, we have Caleb Plant. We already had Danny Jacobs. He already faced Danny Jacobs. Callum Smith, Caleb Plant, and Benavidez at 168 are the appetizers. You got other 168 pounders who are pretty good too. That I would like to see him face. But those are the champions, right? If he goes down to 160 or he pulls one of the 160 pounders up to 168, I don't know how he's gonna do it. I suggest he does not pull anybody up. If the person suggests that they come up to 168, fine. But if they don't want to come up to 168, I don't think he should do that. That's bad on his legacy, pulling them up in weight and telling them to come up in weight. So I would suggest that I think he should face somebody at 168. That's a better challenge than facing somebody at 160. If he's going to face anybody at 160, it should either be Jamal Charlo or Demetrius Anthony. I think if he's got to face somebody, those are the two guys he should face. You know what I'm saying? Because, in my opinion, hold on a second here. Yeah, because I just think that it's just dumb for him if he try to face some easy work. Because everybody's trying to get. You watch the matchups. You look at the lightweight division, right? You're seeing people like Ryan Garcia stepping up to the plate. He want to face Luke Campbell, and he said yes to that, right? And then we have go down this side street here, and we have okay. Right, and then we have Ryan Garcia. Oh yeah, Tank. Well, Tank is gonna be facing he's stepping up to the plate. He's gonna face Leo Santa Cruz. So we got a Santa Cruz fight there coming down, and then what else we got? Teofimo Lopez. He'll be facing Lomachenko. Devin Haney ain't got nobody yet, right? So I mean, I'm just saying that if guys are gonna step out there and actually do something, I just have to watch for a car coming. I don't get knocked down. Yeah, if Devin Haney gonna do something, hopefully he step up to the plate, get somebody who he can face. Because he's the guy again. We noticing a trend with certain fighters, right? Certain fighters like Devin Haney, Terrence Crawford, Demetrius Andre. Who else we got? People are ducking them. Okay. I haven't seen nobody wanting to face Gary Russell Jr. Gary Russell Jr. been out there defending his title for the longest while. Ain't nobody looking for Gary Russell Jr. I find that pretty strange that nobody wanna get at Gary Russell Jr. either. So I just find this kind of weird. At certain boxes, like everybody ducking them like the plague, or they just not like. I remember there was a time when Sean Porter was a guy that was ducked. You know what I'm saying? Ducked a lot, and I'm like, I don't understand. Why is you gonna be ducked like that? Ducked like the plague. And he finally got a breakthrough with Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman actually faced him. But talking about Keith Thurman, do you believe this is talk or you think this is serious? Keith Thurman's talking about Errol Spence need to come face me or leave the division. Then I think he actually, Carol Brook called out Keith Thurman. Carol Brook was like, "Hey man, don't duck me now. Don't duck me, son." And Carol Brooks talking about how, thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, all right, man. Yeah, man. Just me. Don't worry about it. Yeah, so, Carol Brooks was like, "Hey, man, don't duck me, son." I'm like, "What?" Keith Thurman's like, "Okay, just make sure you can make weight." You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting to hear different people kind of chirping around. A little bit more activity. You know what I'm saying? So what's going on here? Uh, yeah. So thank you. Yeah, about my mic. That's true, bro. Yeah, my mic is it's pretty much on point. I think it's the sun that's doing that. Yeah, the sun's doing that shit. Yeah, yeah, man. Let me do this way. Woo! Yeah, I'm just trying to get back in, but actually, I'm gonna shoot a little bit more, and then I'll get back into the house. But yeah, so that's the story with these fights, man. I gotta tell you, I'm interested. Javante Davis did his thing. Adrian Broner kind of chirped in. It was like chirp, 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 chirp. Which reminds me, man, Sugar Ray Leonard was talking about the past and all of that stuff, and he brought up Adrian Broner. And he was saying, man, Adrian Broner be clowning too much. He talk too damn much. The other guy was like, well, that's Adrian Broner. Another OG. You know what I'm saying? The OG's in the business. And so I liked how the OG who was asking Sugar Ray Leonard questions was so open minded though, and so he was actually up to speed with almost everything that was happening today. And I found that really cool. I don't know who that OG was, but I thought he was a really cool dude. And a lot of people are kind of butthurt right now in certain groups. I put this out. Sugar Ray Leonard said that Floyd is boxing. Ooh, that hurt some people. Trust me, it hurt some people because they can't say nothing. And then Sugar Ray Leonard said how Mayweather would hold his own in his era, which is like, duh. Okay, let me tell you why it's duh. If you call a guy an all-time great, what do you think? What are you really saying? What does all-time great mean? And it's different to Hall of Fame, okay? What does all-time great mean? All-time great, exactly what it means. For all time, you would be great, which means not just for the moment in time, but if I was to go through every single era, what I did in my era is great and would be remembered for all time. It also was saying I would handle myself in any era and I would be somewhere in the cream of the crop. I'd be somewhere at the top. Maybe not the very top, but that's what all time great means. And for people who don't know that, now, when we talk about these hypothetical things like, pound for pound list, it's a hypothetical thing. When we talk about all-time greatest list, a hypothetical thing. It does come down to what you really like or who you like, okay? Because you're never going to see the matchup, right? But if you want to be a little bit more scientific with it, which is what I am, and I'm very specific about terms, so you'll find me, TBE is not all-time great, okay? Nope. Not the greatest. Greatest is still kind of based on opinion. It's still kind of based, there's no real specific criteria, so people can make up their own criteria for that. But the best ever, based on how, I'm gonna go with like this. The best ever could be defined anyhow way you want, okay? But the way specifically that a specific fighter would tell you, hold on, Tommy Temper, he's like TBE subjective too. Listen to me, hear me out first. So the way how certain fighters define what they think the best ever is very important to understand. So when Mayweather said, I am the best ever, he clarified that. Okay? He was very clear on what he meant. Okay? And that's the point behind what I'm saying. So why I go with he's the best ever, he's talking from facts and numbers. He's not talking from anybody's opinion. He's coming from a factual basis and formulating that conclusion. Very scientific, yes, sir. A very scientific in the way how he approached it. So, for example, when Mayweather said, I am TBE, he then goes on to quote statistics and numbers, right? He quotes statistics and numbers. And that is where a lot of people have a problem with. He's the best ever. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just like greatest of all time. Greatest of all time, you're not going to be greatest of all time, literally speaking. Okay, greatest of all time. There's no. That's subjective. Okay, Muhammad Ali's not the greatest of all time, but because he called himself the greatest of all time and he did so much for the sport of boxing, and I'm talking about he's not the greatest of all time in the squared circle. That is to say, his performances, while great, they're greater performances than Muhammad Ali. I can name three off the top of my head. I know people who've been more impactful than Muhammad Ali in creating change. Okay, Jack Johnson was revolutionary. Okay, and even Ali gave credit to Jack Johnson. Ali gave credit to Sugar Ray Robinson. Okay, Sugar Ray Robinson was while Ali would probably, if he was the same size, beat Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray Robinson much more technically based boxer than Muhammad Ali. You know what I'm saying? So that's that. Now the best ever. Again, that's a superlative term to some degree, like you said. But to be honest with you, lots of people have used that term before. It's not started with Mayweather. Mike Tyson said it. A lot of people said it. Okay, Marlon Sterling. A lot of people. Lennox Lewis. Okay, and they all have claim to it. They all have claim to it. Now, well, not Mike Tyson in the respect of you got to look at the achievements of the person, and you also have to look at what he did in the ring. Okay, but when Mayweather says it, he's talking purely from a boxing perspective of the sweet science of boxing. Mayweather is very specific in what he's saying. So he's saying as a sweet scientist, what the fuck? A sweet scientist of the sport of boxing. Okay. I am the best ever. There's nobody can touch me, literally and figuratively. And he explains and he shows his achievements and why he is what he says he is. And Sugar Ray Leonard endorsed that. Sugar Ray Leonard came on the same interview with the gentleman, and he said Floyd Mayweather would hold his own with anybody in any era, and specifically in my era as well, he would hold his own. He said he's a master technician, and he said not only is Mayweather boxing, but he is what he says he is. And Zab Judah and a number of other people have said this, and I put it up in the group, and a lot of people was like salty as fuck when I said that. But the proof is in the pudding. The man defeated everyone that was put in front of him in his era. He has all the reason in the world to say that. All right, and the guys that were in his era weren't easy cats. They weren't. People would like to make you feel that his era was weak. That's bullshit. Okay. When have you ever seen a Manny Pacquiao? I'm gonna tell you the last time you saw a Manny Pacquiao. It was in 1980. I think it started off in 1977, went all the way up to 1990 something. That's Aaron Pryor. That's the last time you ever saw a Manny Pacquiao before Manny Pacquiao came on the scene. Manny Pacquiao accomplished a lot more than Aaron Pryor because Aaron Pryor didn't get the opportunities Pacquiao had. Had he gotten the opportunities, we all know Aaron Pryor would have torn it up. Probably would have been the best boxer ever. Okay. And then we got Pernell Whitaker, Sweet Pea Pernell Whitaker. Listen. Roy Jones Jr. Okay. Listen, man. Listen. Y'all gotta focus. Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker was untouchable. The man was untouchable. Okay. You throw a whole set of rice at him and you're gonna miss. It was untouchable. Okay. You want to talk about the best ever? That man has all the criteria in the world. Yeah, they robbed him. They had to rob him. They had to rob Roy Jones Jr. They robbed him. They took from him his opportunity to be undefeated. He would have been undefeated. He would have won every single fight. Conor Whitaker, they took it from him in the beginning. Like I said before, you got to go watch the fights. You can't just look at the verdict. You can't just look at the result. Everybody know that in the fight against Julio Cesar Chavez, Pernell Whitaker was robbed. Everybody knows that when Pernell Whitaker faced Oscar De La Hoya, he won that fight. Everybody knows when he faced Jose Ramirez the first time, he won that fight. Okay, everybody knows this. Okay, Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker has all right to say he was the best ever. He doesn't say it. He says he's the best defensive fighter of all time. That's what he claims. James Toney tries to compete with him, say that. But I'm going to say this. James Toney got mistakes. He got errors. What is the error that Pernell Whitaker has? What's the mistake that where's the flaw in Pernell Whitaker's game? There is no flaw in Pernell Whitaker's game. Okay? So when we talk about these kinds of special fighters, now Roy Jones Jr., he had flaws. Okay? Roy Jones Jr. had flaws and he had limits. Okay? Pernell Whitaker had no flaws, and he really didn't have no limits. He could fight going forwards. He could fight going backwards. He could fight on the outside. He could fight on the inside. He could fight mid-range. And you still couldn't touch him. and he would be touching you. It's not like he didn't throw punches. He always threw a lot of jabs. He threw a lot of left hands. He threw a lot of lefts to the body. He threw a lot of punches. Okay. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So yeah, I know some people are uncomfortable with the best ever. I'm gonna tell you why you are comfortable with the best ever, because there's so many negative things said about Floyd who gives credit to it. But give it 10 years. In 10 years' time, everybody been praising Floyd like he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Because people don't know when they see something great. And people in boxing particularly tend to tear down the opposition that the great people in boxing today. They're tearing down Canelo. Right now they're attacking Lomachenko. They attacked Triple G. They attacked Tyson Fury's being attacked right now. You know, Deontay Wilder's being attacked. Once you show that you are extraordinary in boxing, they're going to actually attack you. It's going to be like King of the Hill. Okay? They're going to go at you. Let's go inside. You know? It is what it is. All right, hold on a second, people. I'm going to come back to you guys in a minute. But let me do this. All right, cool. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Let me just check something, man. Yeah, man. What you need back in the house? Turn on these lights. I gotta wet some more of these plants because they about to die. What you need back in the building? So what you gotta understand, peoples, is that you know Alright, let me see what you say. I don't like using ever as not all time has passed yet. To date sounds better in my opinion. All time sounds like an oxymoron. Yeah, my dude, I hear you on that as well. I hear you on that. The thing about it is, right? They just use superlatives. It's superlatives. So okay, good, cool. It's just extreme language. It's nothing. It's nothing. You know, it's just a superlative. Mm. Okay. So you know, you don't like take offense to that. But let me talk about some other things and boxing going on. So people talking about Glovegate and all of that, and I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna say it again. Deontay Wilder, he has a fight coming up this year, supposedly this year, right? And I'm hearing all kinds of crazy stuff Wilder be saying. Now, it's one thing to open your mouth and say we got evidence on Glovegate, and then shut up about that and just keep on working, right? It's another thing when you start talking about the WBC and you're going off on the WBC and everything. You have words to say about everything except for preparing for your fight. The moment I don't hear Deontay Wilder's voice anymore, and I just see him working to change what he's supposed to change, because he been found out. So if he don't change what he's supposed to change and be working at that, like how Anthony Joshua was working at his stuff, he gonna get routed again, and that'll be completely on him, in my opinion. Oh, where did I put that money? Be completely on him. You know, fans will chain you up and carry you places you don't need to go. As a boxer, you can't be listening to anybody talk, because a lot of people flap their gums, but they're not gonna be there for you when you have to deal with that stuff in the ring. So you better prepare. He better prepare himself for Tyson Fury. You know what I mean? Otherwise, he's gonna get routed. Fury gonna rout him again. And people are saying, well, Fury's underestimating Wilder. No, he ain't underestimating. Well, hopefully he's not. But what I could say is that as of now, they got a date set. It seems they better be getting down to business and stop talking nonsense. I get down to that boxing because now's the time to focus in on that and just put that work in. Tyson Fury always been in shape. He's staying in shape. So once he stays in shape, he's gonna be good. Wilder, on the other hand, I don't know what he's doing, but he better have a good game plan for the next fight. Or is Tyson Fury gonna fuck him up for real? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's all I got for now. There's some other things I want to talk about, but I'm gonna talk about that later. Javante Davis, man, I saw his coach, Coach Calvin. Coach Calvin want to bring down the whole side, the whole team. You know what I'm saying? He want to bring down the whole team to go spawn in California. You know, you want to get some of that work. They go. He was going with the whole squad. You know what I'm saying? What's up? Got you down. Get beat and never get left behind. Okay, yeah. So Tommy Temper, man, all time sounds like an oxymoron. It is an oxymoron. I mean, it sounds stupid. But we got the title, so best ever and all of that. Yeah, it's kind of retarded. But what I'm saying to you though is, in spite of all of that, okay, in spite of all of that, it's a title. And something Box has been saying for the longest while. Of course, the best of your eras is probably the more realistic thing because you can't really match. You can match records with other people, but you can't really match them up. If you really want to know who the best is, what the best got to do? The best got to face the best. So I understand where you're coming from. A lot of people don't put too much stock into it, but then fans, because we're fans, the fans now, they gonna have stuck in it. They're gonna be like, man, the best ever and stuff, and they gonna have video games and shit to get people to. So I mean, it's more for the fans that we talk about this, all right. But quite frankly, he uses certain criteria to show that he's the best ever, and I absolutely agree with him. And of course, in his era, and most of the boxers that are premier boxers, the best boxers out there that he faced, acknowledge him as the best ever. The only guys that probably don't acknowledge him is like Manny Pacquiao, etc. Okay. And then when we talk about modern day boxers, because I moved off course and started talking about him. I don't. So I was just saying that Sugar Ray Leonard acknowledged him. Of course, his uncle also showed the history behind what he had accomplished and so on. Roger Mayweather, God rest his soul. So anyway, back to the modern boxers. I want to talk a little bit about the modern boxers in terms of now how people take them for granted. Like, how dare Errol Spence, blah, 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 blah. Or how dare Terrence Crawford say blah, blah, blah. But yet, in the same breath, they're going to take Lomachenko or they take Tyson Fury and compare him to OG. Oh, the greatest thing since Muhammad Ali. Oh, the greatest thing since Floyd Mayweather. In fact, better than Floyd Mayweather. Like, in one breath, how dare Terrence Crawford say that? Oh, how dare Errol Spence say that? But in the next breath, yeah, this guy, he's just good as, the great second coming of Muhammad Ali. Yeah, this guy is as good as Floyd, better than Floyd. I mean, the heresy and the hypocrisy, And I want to just say this because I'm going to say it. You know me, I'm going to say what I got to say. The racism and this foolish thing of boxing, I hate it. I hate the bullshit. All you got to do is be white, or you got to be light skinned, and all of a sudden the narrative changes for you. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that. Bernard Hopper was talking about black fighters and the culture, and he was saying that if you don't understand what a dude be doing in the ring, it's because you didn't grow up in a certain boxing environment. He gave an example where, the guy tucks his chin and he's coming to you, right? He tuck his chin, tuck his head like this, and he's walking to you. If you throw a punch up on top of here, break your hand, right? protect his chin, and he walking to you like this, right? Walking to you like that, right? Now, when he's walking to you, he's saying, I'm coming for your ass. That's what he's doing, okay? So if you start to back off and you don't cut your angles and you don't walk to him, because you know y'all gonna walk up to the inside and you're gonna bang on the inside. If you don't understand what he's doing, you're gonna back the hell up, right? It's called, and then there's the other style, which is called the fencing style, where there's a high-low equivalent. What I mean by that is one hand is pointing downwards, one hand is pointing upwards, like a fencer. So he got one guard up. I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. He got one guard up and got one guard down. It's gonna be an awkward angle though. That shit gonna look weird. But you got one guard up. This is the guard up here, and one guard down like this. This is a fencing stance. Okay? You can't see my feet. My feet are spreading apart. So I'm here like this. Okay? I extend my hand. It's extended guard. One guard up, one guard down. It's a fencing stance. That stance is supposed to push you backwards. All right? If you see a guy, I don't think you guys understand. That means I could stab you down or I could stab you up. If I throw a punch, I could throw it to your head or I could throw a punch to your stomach. That's a double guard. It's like a fencing guard. Fencing guard, what I mean by that? I can't show you. It's like if you have two swords. One's pointing upwards and it's low, and one's pointing downwards and it's high. I could stab you down coming up, or I could stab you up going down. That scares people because how you gonna defend against? You don't know which one's gonna come, and it's a God designed to push you backwards. All right, it's a little bit of 101 boxing knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people, if you don't understand the message and you don't understand what the guy is really saying, what his intent is, you misread the message. He's gonna push you back to the ropes. So Bernard Hopkins was trying to explain to people that, you know, the slickish style of boxing is not something that, you know, Shane Mosley was saying understood what Floyd was doing in the ring. He couldn't do nothing about it, but he understood what Floyd was doing. All right? Because even if you understand what a fighter is doing to you in the ring, the question is, can you execute as well as they're executing? You know, there are a lot of boxers in boxing with a lot of natural talent. Sometimes some of them are more skilled than other boxers. But one thing in boxing, and Roger Mayweather would tell you this, is it's not just skills. It's honed skills. It's not just being able to do something. Do you do it well, good, very good, or excellent? I'll give you an example again. Boxing 1-on-1. Shit. All right. Cool. This is gonna look stupid, but whatever. I don't care. So, I'm in the southpaw stance, right? Taking my chin. I throw a jab. What? Right? I just threw my jab. What? Nice and slow. What? I step in and throw my jab, right? What? Right? Go back here. Take my chin. Whoop. Whoop. Right? Okay. Now, how I threw my jab was meh. Okay. But if I practice and I perfect throwing my jab, that simple jab, a step jab, right? Step and jab, or jab on the spot, right? If I work up perfecting that jab, I got the same skills. I can jab just like the other guy, but maybe the other guy can do it better than I can. So it's not just, oh, he's so skilled. I always tell people, Sean Porter is a very skilled guy. He has more skills than Mayweather, than Terrence Crawford, than Errol Spence. Having more things you can do doesn't mean you're going to win. Being able to do those things better than everyone else is what's going to allow you to win. The better you can do each of those things is the better you're going to do in a fight. So it's not just how many different kinds of skills you have, it's how good you are or how honed you are in those skills that determine if you're victorious or not. So Andre Ward and Floyd Mayweather have honed their skills. They were not satisfied just learning the skill and being good enough to beat people. Every day they worked on their skills and improving them. Daily. Okay? That's the difference between those guys and other guys. When you look at Canelo slip punches, just like anybody else. He slip punches. But the way how he does it and how much effort he needs to use to slip them punches shows his honed skills. He don't cut no big set of angle to move his head. His head moving little increments. And you're missing your shots. That's honed skill. And that's the difference. So okay, let's talk about modern fighters today. Modern fighters today are becoming world champion even younger and younger and younger. We see Shakur Stevenson became world champion at 20 or something like that. Devin Haney 20 or something like that. Teofimo Lopez. They're young guys when they went. Now in boxing there's always been something like that. But what I'm saying is, Terry Norris and all the exceptional ones started very early becoming world champion. But the point is, there's a big crop of them doing it now. Okay? A big crop of them are becoming world champions very, very early. Gervonta Davis became world champion, was the youngest world champion. Devin Haney, very young. Teofimo Lopez, a little bit older. Shakur Stevenson, youngest, So what I'm saying is that we're seeing this new breed, this new crop of fighters, and they're doing it earlier. We're also seeing some Eastern European fighters coming in match tough. Right now they're talking about this Uzbekistan guy. I see it in the groups. They bring him up every now and then, and he's match tough. Like he came in and started fighting guys who were, his first fight was against a highly experienced journeyman who had won a lot of his fights, and his second fight was dealing with guys who had wins, you know what I'm saying? So, and this is in the United States of America. So, matching a fighter tough early is something we're seeing a lot more of. Vasily Lomachenko is an extreme example of that. In the second fight, he was fighting for a world championship. In the third fight, became world champion. You know what I'm saying? That's ridiculous, okay? So we're seeing some ridiculous things that we never saw before in the sport of boxing. And a lot of people talk about this era is weak or the era before was weak. And I'm like, you out of your fucking mind. You can't have a weak era and you got... Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, you can't talk about weak era and you got people like Juan Guzman that was in the era. You know what I'm saying? You had Juan Guzman. Let's talk, just for the sake of it, 130, 154, because this is all the claim, I'm gonna come back to the other eras though. Juan Guzman was in that era. Joe Casamayor, Erislandy Law. Y'all cool? Okay, right. Erislandy Law. Erislandy Law. Okay. We had Paul Williams. Real people. Eric Morales, Antonio Barrera. We had why do I keep on getting Rasheed Warren? Okay, Rasheed Warren was in the era too. Shit. We had a lot of really good people from... Yeah, we had a lot of great fighters, man, between 1996 to 2019. We had a lot of fighters, man, a lot of great fighters. The rise of the era, Timothy Bradley, Lamont Peterson, Shit, there's a lot of fighters, man. There's a lot of fighters. My mind's kind of blanking out a little bit, giving me problems, which is annoying. But yeah, we got a lot of good fighters, man. A lot of good fighters. Uh, shit, it's a lot of good fighters, man. Sergio Martinez, you know, Shane Mosley was there for a bit. Oscar De La Hoya was still there for the bit. We had Ricardo Mayorga. We had Andrew Sixhead Lewis, Corey Spinks. We had Vernon Forrest. We had um, shit, just my mind is just clear. It's so many names, but it's just like my mind's just like drawing blanks. It's crazy. I mean, Antonio Margarito, of course, and we had Quintana. We had uh, uh, fucking Kermit Cintron. You know, in the 140 Division One, Urango. We had Ricky Hatton, Costa Zoo, Miguel Cotto, that Guyanese kid. I forgot what his name is. We had Danny Garcia, Amir Khan. I just can't remember this dude named from France, but it's all right. It's cool. And then he had Chop Chop Corley. I mean, we had a lot of people, man. We had a lot of people. It's Gaddy. Gaddy War Fights was in that era. War was a tough one. Always a tough one. Tough cookie. Tough guy. I don't think he ever got knocked out. I don't think he ever got stopped. We had a lot of Argentinian fighters in that era as well. Of course, the Marcos McDonald's of the world, the Lucas Matises of the world, the Baldemirs, the Castañas, Castaño, I think it is. We got the representation from Puerto Rico. We had the Acelino Freitas, we had the Joel Castamayors, the Robert Garcias, the Jernero Hernandez, the Azuma Nelsons, we even had Tito Trinidad in that era, but he was like 154. We had the Castillos, oh shit, man, I just forget so many names right now. Uh, the the shit, the Manuel Marquez is the man. I'm drawing blanks. I don't know why I'm drawing so many blanks. There's so many names I'm seeing, but I just can't. So many faces I'm seeing, but I just can't remember the names. I'm just coming with the normal run of the mill names. But there was some really bad cats in each era. Whether it was a Lascano, whether it was fuck you, Paul Spadafora. There you go, comes up. What is the Spadaforas? The Dorans, the Vacas, Jorge Vaca, and whether it's the Castellanos who's still around. You had the 150